Now that we understand the SCADAPack 470 hardware, we're going to open up RemoteConnect and set up our first SCADAPack 470 program. So to start, go ahead and hit the start button and type in remote, and RemoteConnect will come up here. Select RemoteConnect. Once RemoteConnect opens, there's a couple things you can see right away. You could create a new project, you can open an existing project, you could read a current project. There's a couple things up here. Obviously, create new opens up here, the save buttons here, as well as the user preferences. So say if you want to use French instead of English, you could set it up there, as well as you go to this full screen mode. Like go to the full screen mode. Here there's the help. Here's your help file. It'll explain everything they need to know, as well as you could also open up the SCADAPack 470 hardware manuals all in here. So a lot of people ask me, how do you wire an input maybe? So here, if you go under your DI input, it'll show your wiring examples. All that stuff's listed in the help here. As well, there's an integrity check as well as an about button. In the about button, it tells you what version of RemoteConnect you're using. Maybe you're not using the latest version. There's a more up-to-date one, and this is a good way to check. So to begin, we're going to go and just hit create project. So when this window comes up, by default it uses SCADAPack 575, but we're clearly using a SCADAPack 470, so we want to select that instead. We're just going to leave the DMP address of 0. We'll enable all the Modbus settings as well as all the DMP3 settings, except for this DMP3 data concentrator master. That requires a license that I don't have, so we're just going to leave that blank. And we're going to enable the RealFlow computer license here as well. You could change this later on, so don't worry if you enable it or disable it, as well as you can enable how many DMP3 masters. We'll leave it at 1 for now. We'll change that when we get to the DMP3 section of this training. Hit next. You can connect to it a couple different ways. I'm going to use DMP3 TCP, as well as I'll just leave the DMP3 target address is 0 because that's the default, and the default IP on these SCADAPacks is 192.16.1.200. So I'll type that in. I'll show you where to find that later on too. So hit next, and you could change this stuff later on, so don't stress it too much, and then hit finish. It'll take a second or two to create the project. So once the project's created, you can see everything over here in the network view. So here's just your SCADAPack settings, as well as you could go online, offline, and read and write from here. So you could just minimize this for now if you like, so you get the full screen, and then you could open this back up if you like. You could also go back to the start page and create or open a new project. There's the DTM catalogs here as well, but all we care about is the SCADAPack configuration, which is right here. So once we're in there, you could hover over all the points on the SCADAPack. The first thing we could look at, Ethernet 1. When we highlight over here, we'll notice that it tells you the default IP, which is 172.16.1.200, so that's how you find it. You could actually click on it and it'll drill down to that point where that's set up. As well as you could hover on any of the I/O, click on it, and it'll drill down in the settings to where that's located. There's your analog inputs up here at the top left. There's 4 analog inputs, as well as all your status lights here. So your power, run, stat, and force. And go ahead and just hover over all this stuff and it'll explain everything to you. As well as there's this modem functionality, as well as 2 USB ports. This is the USB host, so this is for data logging. You don't connect to the SCADAPack over this one. You connect over the USB-C port. So that's how you connect to it, but we're going to connect to it over Ethernet to start. There's also a second Ethernet port here that you could set up. So that's the top bit of the SCADAPack. The bottom bit, there is 2 RJ45 ports. They could be 232 or 485. They're selectable. As well as there's 2 hardwired 485 ports here. As well as there's some I/O. There's 2 DOs, as well as 4 DIs. These DIs can all be used as pulse inputs, as well as the first 2 have a preamp built in. And we'll go through that when we later on in the training. And then obviously you need power for this. There's a power here. One other thing you'll notice when you unpack your SCADAPack, there's a little switch right here to turn on the RAM battery. So make sure you have that turned on and you pull the sticker off. And that's pretty much it for the hardware. So it's nice that you can see the hardware here and you can click on whatever you like. You could go down the tree. Most of the stuff I already went through in the hardware here, but your physical I/O, your USB connection settings are here. All your serial settings for your multiple ports are all here. There is a serial 5 port. This is under the hood of the SCADAPack. Just ignore that for now. We'll go through that later on. You have all your IP settings, whether that's Ethernet 1 and 2. All your DMP3 and Modbus settings. You have your Modbus master client set up here, so you don't need to do it in Logic. You can do it in Logic, but it is here to make it easier. And then last but not least is your SCADAPack logic. And you can hit your open editor, obviously open on my other screen here. So this is how you create all your logic. You'll see right down here. We'll go back into the RemoteConnect settings. And that's just a quick run through of RemoteConnect. In the next lab, we'll go and actually connect to the SCADAPack, and then we'll start going through things like the I/O and the configuration, as well as all of the logic. Well, thanks for watching this video.